Okay, so posting another update on life. This one, hopefully, a little more cheery and, you know, a little more upbeat. Um, I recently, with it, like the last year, found my dad, found my sisters, and a brother. Um, Pretty much, um, my dad, actually a really good guy. Um, he's a retired truck driver. Um, I went looking one day and kind of came across him and ended up getting a phone number. And I called him and I was like, laid out some family history on his voicemail. And, well, no, I sent him a text with the family history. And he got back to me and said, yes, I was married to your mom, but I had a son. My words were, surprise, no, you didn't. And basically, it was a gamble. I didn't know what my father was going to do when he found out that the child he swore was a son was his daughter. Well, let's just say he and my mom both told me this is my stepmom, but we do not have step in this family. Um, they both told me, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. And I told him, never been happier. Um, then that same night, I was on the phone with my baby sister. She searched for me since she was, how old did she say? I think 16. And unbeknownst to me, in 1998, I only lived just down the highway from them. And it was surprising. They lived in Texarkana, and I lived literally just like right down the highway from them. Like 2 3 hour drive. And, well, I think that's kind of why when I was in 1998, I was in Texas, is because I hoped that I would have run across my father. And like I said, he's a nice guy. I also have a sister who lives in Silicon Valley, California. I believe that's where she lives. Um, she's awesome. She doesn't pull punches. She tells you how it is. Um, she very smart. She was a computer coder. Um, I've recently, by what you can see in my channel, gotten into RC cars. Apparently, she was into them back in the day too. So that doesn't say your sister is cool, then I don't know what does. Um, let's see. I have a brother who passed away. I don't know much about him. And I have a older brother who's alive. Um, don't know much about him. I haven't gotten in contact with him. But everyone in my family is of the same thought. As long as I'm happy, that is all that matters. And pretty much, they're right. God, this angle makes me look horrible. But oh well. As it stands, I looked for so long for my family. And even they don't know some of the stuff that went on when I was young. I mean, there's been some horrendous things happen in my childhood, and they were things that I would rather have forgotten. Kind of opened up those old wounds. I'm going to counseling. Actually quit smoking. I promised my oldest child, my daughter, that I would quit. Oh, God, when was that? That was April, May. Promised her I'd quit. Haven't bought a pack of cigarettes in months. Kind of feels good. And to be honest, kind of halfway turned myself into a health nut. I've cut back on my soda intake, lost a good amount of weight. Seemed like my waist shrunk, but my chest stayed the same size, which is, from what I understand, not normal. I've had a lot of the women I'm friends with tell me, usually when you get skinnier, your boobs get smaller. Not mine. They've stayed the same size. Even though I pay the price, I walk at least half a mile a day every day. Because I have severe back issues now, thanks to my mother. I acquired her degenerative disc disease. I've always had a bad knee. Both my ankles are bad. My feet are shot, partly because of the ankle issue. Let's see. Covered the fact that I have Tourette's syndrome. Even though there's one person out there who has openly told people I know that I don't. She hasn't seen my paperwork from my clinician, so she wouldn't know either way. Just simple, hard truth. Back when I was with my ex-wife, I had BPD and didn't realize it. Borderline personality disorder, not bipolar disorder. I also have complex PTSD, which stems from my childhood. My ex-wife actually remembered that I had that. Waking up from a nightmare almost every day it takes its toll. And until I got on antidepressants, just before that, this took its toll on my wrist. I ended up going to the emergency room, and then for 3 days I was voluntarily admitted to a mental unit. I still have one bad scar. The rest of those cuts actually healed. I will not share the scar on my left wrist, but it's there. Trust me. This was only a few months ago. I'm on antidepressants. An antidepressant. I mean, it's a culmination of things that has pushed me this far. Not just one. Getting news that basically just made me fall apart crying, which is not something I really do. It's, at least not in front of people. My son, my wife, and my ex-wife are pretty much the only ones who have seen me cry. I've even kept my tears to myself with my daughter. The last time the first time I went and had a visit with my daughter, as she left the train station, I held my tears until I knew that she was far out of sight, and then I started crying. And there is that same person on here that is saying that my daughter isn't mine. Well, I hate to say it, but yeah, my daughter is mine. We share the same facial features. Even my own sister saw it. The moment she saw a picture of her, she was like, yep, she's one of us. And you know what? I see it. I have a picture of my daughter up on my wall. And I see my daughter's face every day. I used to keep a picture of my daughter on my refrigerator in my apartment that I used to have. Went up on my refrigerator the day I moved in. Didn't come down to the day I moved out. I love that kid. I loved her since before she was born. I loved her to the point that I went to every doctor's appointment. Most I want to be macho guys, they're like, I'll drop you, hun, and I'm going to go do my own thing. No, not me. I would pull up and I would drop my pregnant wife off at the door. I would park my car and I would walk in. I was there for every doctor's appointment. Every time there was false labor, I was there. I was driving us to the hospital. And in the hospital, when my daughter was born, I was there. I watched my daughter take her first breaths. From the moment I found out about that pregnancy test being positive, I have loved my daughter. And I will never, never again deny that she is mine, because she is. She is one of the 2 most important people in my life. 2 of 4 most important people. And those 4 people, 2 are my kids, and the other 2 or women have married. I mean, not a lot of people who hold anger in their heart for a long time for an ex can say that that ex has become someone that they value. But I do. I wish there were so many things I hadn't said. And it wasn't so much anger, it was hurt. My wife knows it. I have told my ex that I love her, and I always will. It's always been there. I was hurt. I was obviously broken. And I said a bunch of things that I didn't mean. My ex-wife, Amber, if she said, I need you, I'd help her out. Now, there was a time I said I wouldn't piss on a fire to put her out. But that was hurt. That was me not understanding. That was me being upset. So, basically, there's been a lot that has happened in the last year. And it's really difficult thinking back on everything that's happened. I went from a very happy, enthusiastic person to being somebody who hides indoors all the time. I rarely step out of my place to go really anywhere except for at night when I'm least likely to encounter anyone. And it's because I don't really want to talk to anyone. I hardly risk making friends. And, well, that's connected to my quiet BPD. I don't see a point in having friends. Part of that is because, well, it's just one more person to abandon me. And, yeah, abandonment issues are huge with me. I mean, there's one person out there that'll say I'm full of shit. But these videos, these are me. Raw, uncut, nothing being held back. And I'm sorry, but I don't have to tailor my story for anyone. I don't have to lie. Now, if I did, well, you know what? I'd end up being just the run-of-the-mill jerk influencer who doesn't care about anyone, including themselves. But my problem is I care too goddamn much. Everyone in my life I care about. And I just don't hold things back anymore. I mean, it's like, I straighten my life out. I get a family. And then I have somebody come along who thinks it's okay to just try to screw shit up. I mean, come on, I'm married. I mean, what's that say? I mean, when I first started this relationship with my wife, I was like, no, never again. My ex-wife, she fucked me up pretty bad. I don't want this ever again. But my wife, she cut through all that. She got through it and ultimately got to the real me. Which basically not a lot of people have done. I don't have to put up a wall or project something I'm not. I can be exactly who the fuck I am. Day in, day out. Life's simple. And I found in the last year, with finding my dad and my sisters, mom and brother, that family is one of the most important things. My dad being an old timer and serving in Vietnam as a helicopter pilot, I didn't think he'd accept me for who I am. I really didn't. But he did. And I'm glad. My dad's a great guy. And he tried to rescue me from a childhood that was, of sorts, not so great. Some people wonder why I don't talk about my mother. There's a reason. A major one. What's wrong, baby girl? So, yeah. I decided upon taking the role of a mom, I was going to be better than mine on every aspect. My mother only ever hit me a couple of times. But what she did was a lot worse than that. My son, he doesn't get hit. He doesn't get screamed at. He gets punished. But his punishment comes in taking away his Xbox, taking away his iPad, being grounded. That right there is enough to make that boy straighten up. And once I lock in and tell him exactly why he's in trouble, that right there is the point. He learns what he did wrong. Swatting, screaming, that doesn't work. Now, my mom didn't do either of those. But it's just, my son's not in danger of what my mother did to me either. because I refuse to subject either of my children to that type of depraved shit. They say it takes 9 generations to break abuse. I broke it in 1. So basically, I guess I exceeded expectations of researchers because, like I said, I broke that circle of abuse in 1. So I'm going to cut this one off right here. Well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.